Periods are a life-changing experience when you first get them. I got my first one on Skype. Yep.
What does that even mean?
Oh my God, no, not in that way.
Yo, last night was f***ing crazy.
Oi, I have so much to tell you guys.
Come over right now for a debrief.
It's time for a debrief with Clara, Ella and Jade.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of Debrief. I'm Clara.
I'm Jade.
I'm Ella.
And today we're going to be covering the serious topics of period, contraceptions, skincare, and acne. As women, this sort of stuff affects us and hits us pretty hard.
It really does.
Some of the fantastic things we get to go through as women.
It's just, I love being a woman. Just womanhood stuff. The average period for women in New Zealand begins at the age of 13.2 years of age.
Specific.
Down to
Got the
T.
months in there.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's different for everyone, and our menstruation cycles are usually about 28 days. Also different for everybody. It's definitely, periods are a life-changing experience when you first get them. I got my first one on Skype. Yep.
What does that even mean?
Oh my God, no, not in that way. I just, was having a wee powwow with my friend, when Skype was like a big thing. And,
Not Omegle?
No, Jade. And suddenly got my period. But yeah, traumatic times ahead, and I did not realize what was in store for me, as periods are not so black and white for women as we've come to know. There's been, the emergence of disorders and diseases related to periods, such as a new one that's just come out called PMDD, which means premenstrual dysphoric disorder. This one's kind of come out of the woodwork thanks to TikTok. A lot of doctors have been unwilling to diagnose women with this, or have misdiagnosed women with PMDD. It's essentially when you experience very bad depression, behavioral problems and issues, and it's usually resolved on the onset of your menstruation cycle. So you essentially live like a week of hell. Not great, but thankfully to TikTok and social media, it's starting to come to light that this is something women go through and it's not normal. And yeah,
I feel like TikTok's really good for uncovering things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as bad as TikTok is for your attention span and everything like that, I feel like people discover so much about themselves and find people to relate to through TikTok. So it does have a very good side.
exactly. And bringing awareness to these sort of issues, as you feel like you're alone and you might not necessarily go get help for something like that because you think, oh, it's just normal, I'm just on my period, so I'm just gonna feel suicidal for a week. Not normal at all. And it's definitely something where if you can tell your period is not normal and is not affecting you normally, and it becomes unbearable, it is definitely something you should consult your GP or doctor about, because no one should live like that.
No one should feel like that.
Endometriosis is another huge one. 1 in 10 women in New Zealand live with endometriosis. As someone who also has been diagnosed with endometriosis, it is genuinely horrible. It's when the tissue grows kind of on the outer of your cervix, and it causes incredible and intense pain. Unbearable pain. It comes in stages. So you've got 4 stages. Stage 1 is usually operable and curable, and you can deal with it a lot easier, but then you go up the scale, and stage 4 is when it's spread pretty badly and you'd have to have quite a few surgeries. It can also affect obviously when you want to have a baby, if you don't get it sorted out, and it's another unfortunate reality for women because through the public health system it's a lot harder to get diagnosed with that sort of thing, and that is another issue that's been brought to light, thankfully, to social media. I believe, obviously, as women, once again, we need to, stand up for ourselves. And if something isn't right, it isn't right.
And your body, because I feel like it's normal when you talk about periods is so hard because everyone's different. Everyone goes through it differently, different times. Some people get it every month, some people don't. It's one of those things that's really hard to figure out what is necessarily normal. But I feel like you know your body, you know when something's not right, and going to your doctor or family planning or like your school health or something like that, and just asking questions, because you know when you're not right and you should definitely dive into it.
It's important not to downplay as well how like you're feeling. I remember a lady came in and talked to my year group at high school, and she was saying like, if you're missing a day of school because of your period, like that isn't what is meant to be happening. So like it is important to get checked to make sure that, you know, everything is all
100%.
working down there.
Yeah, and I think with my endo diagnosis, I was really lucky. I had been diagnosed at about the age of 14 years old. Yeah, so I was lucky. So I've had around 3 surgeries to deal with it. And now I'm a lot better, but going through like a gynecologist that listened to me, heard me, and dealt with it quickly means that I get to live my life pain-free. And another way that to combat also endometriosis and period pains is contraception.
That's where I come in, which is hilarious, me talking about contraception, because I'm currently not on any, and neither is Miss Ella.
No.
So that's fun. Maybe we'll learn something from here, and we can find a contraception that suits us. Because that's one thing, right? It's so hard to find something that suits you. But interestingly enough, 79%. So Family Planning is a New Zealand organisation, and they're super cool to go through if you need any sort of sexual health help. And they did a survey in 2020, so a bit outdated, but 79% of respondents were using contraception, with the top being the contraceptive pill and condoms, which is interesting. But there's so many options. So I found a few, and I thought I'd go through some of the positives and negatives and how much they work and things like that. So we're starting off with the good old pull-out method, which scientifically is known as the withdrawal.
Pull and pray.
Pull and pray, that's the old classic, which is a medical like type of contraception, and it counts. So you could technically...
Might not be the most effective and,
No.
you know, safest, but...
Well, let me tell you, how effective is the withdrawal? If it is done perfectly, it can be 96% effective.
That's pretty high.
That's pretty darn good.
I like those odds.
Yeah, but how often are things done perfectly though?
Yeah, especially in
with-
that moment. So
Also, is it true that you can get pregnant from pre-cum?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's where it'll get you. So so a lot of these say if done correctly and perfectly, like with the pill, taking it specifically at the right time all the time, it's very highly effective.
Yeah.
But in like real world, the withdrawal is typically around 80% effective. Still not bad. That's not bad.
I wouldn't recommend it though. I don't think.
No.
I don't. I think there's better options. Surely, JD.
Yeah, we'll dive into those, eh?
Well, I'd just like to clarify, we're on no contraception, not just because we, you know, we have tried lots of options, and I think it was just, you know, giving our bodies a break from taking a pill every day or...
And also finding out what works for you, because you can try multiple
Yeah.
and you'll still feel like, oh, this doesn't work for me. And you hear kind of like some scary stories about girls coming off the pill and realizing, oh, I'm not a crazy bitch. But that just means that wasn't the right one for them.
Yeah.
And they'll find the right one from them through trial and error. So next we head to condoms. Everybody loves condoms? No, hate them.
I don't hear many positive things about condoms, because it's, you know, some people are like, oh, it ruins the moment, like whipping it out, you know, put a condom on, or that it's like, you know, they can break sometimes, or you have to buy them. Like, obviously you can get them for free, but a lot of people don't use that option.
No. So 98% effective, which means 2 out of 100 women. But then again, that is if it's done perfectly. Real world use, 85%. So only 5% better than the old withdrawal. So that's interesting. Next, we head into the pills. So this is the pill you take every day. So you can do your combination pill of estrogen and progestin, which is your hormones that stop the egg from producing. So no chance of getting pregnant. And then you can also do the mini pill, which is no hormones in that pill.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, sorry. Progestin only.
Got you.
Yes. So less harsh with the hormones, but then there are some side effects. So with your combination pill, perks are it's easy, it doesn't get in the way like a condom. you can control your period. So a lot of people get very light and not as often with their period, which is a great option because obviously a lot of girls hate getting the period. And it's a great option if you get really heavy, painful periods, because then that can help clear that up a bit. And that one's 92% effective. So now we're getting pretty high. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Your mini pill, it needs to be taken within 3 hours of your selected time every day. So unless you've got a tight schedule you follow, that is risky.
What time of the day would you take it?
You can choose.
Yeah, but that
like,
would be hard because what if you take it in the mornings but you sleep in one day?
Yeah. Then
windows
you're out
closed.
for, I think, about a week until you cycle back onto it. That one's also 92%, but 99% if used correctly all the time.
Which, let's be real, people
Not
struggle
gonna-
with.
yeah.
We're human. That's not.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
feasible
likely.
at all.
There's very few side effects for that one, obviously, because less hormones. But the only thing is you can bleed more regularly and more heavily. So that's kind of like maybe for someone who doesn't mind getting their period, where like that's something for me that I don't really fuck with periods, to be honest. I find them so annoying, which is what I'll dive into later with the jab. But the interestingly enough, there we go. The mini pill works by thickening the mucus in the cervix so that the sperm can't even get through. Isn't that interesting?
Does that mean your discharge is really thick?
No, because it's up in you, so it doesn't really.
Sorry, that was really dumb of me, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
No, that's a really good
thanks,
question.
guys.
Questions around
Hey,
here.
thanks, guys.
Yeah. So next we move to implants or the rod, which is known as Jadel.
Sounds French.
Yeah, Jadel. 99% effective, which is pretty dang high.
That
so
is
that's an
high.
implant that gets put in your arm. It's a bit freaky because you can see it and you can feel it, and I think that puts a lot of people off. Up to 5 years. The great thing about it, it's a fit and forget, so similar to like the Marina or the IUD. And it's also good because it's a slow release of the hormone progestogen. So really slow release, so you're not going to get those spikes of hormones, which is like bad for your skin and bad for your like moods and everything like that. It's free to New Zealand residents, which is interesting.
That's cool.
Changes to bleeding, it can be more or less, it kind of depends on the person. So again, that's a trial and error to see what works for you. Then we head to the jab. So I'm rattling them off here. So Depo-Provera injection or the jab. I was on that one for a while. Injections every 13 weeks. Now this is the lazy girl one, I feel, because you get your jab every 13 weeks. You don't have to worry about it. It's in your butt. It doesn't even hurt. But the only thing is it's a massive spike in hormones because they're giving you all those hormones and then off you go.
To last 13 weeks as well.
Yeah.
Like
That's going to keep you going.
Hectic.
Yeah, I was on it for a bit and it was great, I think, for a couple of months. And then I slowly began putting on a lot of weight very quickly. And I realized I went to my doctor about it as well and said, I'm gaining a lot of weight, and you get the classic, are you eating exercise?
Yeah.
Went off it. Yeah, are you exercising? Went off it and shed the weight. It's a lot. It
That's
works
one
beautifully for
thing.
some people though.
Well, yeah, because like some people, again, trial and error, some people put on weight, some people lose weight on all of them, especially the pill's a big one.
Yep.
But then when I was reading them up on family planning, a lot of them say no scientific proof that they make you put on weight or make you lose weight.
Isn't it something about cravings? You have more like cravings for food or something. But honestly, I think that there is scientific evidence because
There has to be,
there's
yeah.
so many examples of people that I know who they've had weight, like their weight has fluctuated.
Yeah. God, we're struggling with words today.
Sorry, it's not a good day.
Yeah, and also women's health and contraception, things like that are under researched as well.
Exactly. So like no scientific, well, we haven't actually done any science on it, so there's no proof.
Yeah, there you go.
With the jab, 70% of people will have no periods after 4 injections. So that's why I chose the jab, because didn't even have to worry about it. And that happened for me. Didn't have my period for ages. But then the other thing is, so say you decide I want to have a baby now, because when you think about taking the pill, you don't really think about the fact that you might be wanting to have a baby in the coming years. So you come off the jab and you can still have it in your system and not get pregnant for up to a year or a bit longer.
Wow.
So if you're wanting to try for a baby, you're going to have to wait a whole nother year until it comes out of your system. So that's another thing to think about, especially if you're heading into those years. But it does help, again, if you have heavy or painful periods. So that's a big one for girls that are sick of getting their periods. Jump on the jab. And there's also something about it weakening your bone density. But that it also is a side effect of a lot of the other ones. A lot of contraception kind of have similar side effects that they mention, and it's kind of like it could happen, it couldn't happen, who knows, you know. Then we head to our IUDs. Those are the last ones I'm going to talk about. The lovely IUD. We've got the copper IUD or your Mirena, which is your hormonal or non-hormonal. So with your hormonal, 99% effective. You can have one from 3, 5 to 10 years that you leave in and not worry about. And it stops the sperm from reaching the egg. And if it does, the IUD stops the egg from attaching to the wall of the uterus. But the only thing is, it can be very painful to put in and take out.
That is an understatement.
Yes.
And it's terrible as well, because I've had one taken out and then put in, and they're getting pulled out, shocking, nearly passed out. But
you hear some horror stories.
the main course wasn't done yet, you know, and getting it put in, brutal. And that's another area that is completely neglected, because we should be entitled to stronger painkillers when going through something that traumatic. I'm unsure why.
The opening something that doesn't want to be opened and shoving a hook into it.
Like they just say take 2 Panadols like 2 hours before you come in. I'm sorry, but that did nothing. It's honestly, that was the worst pain I've ever. It hurt more than breaking my arm. Like it is excruciatingly painful, and I was in bed for 2 days after too, because I couldn't move.
And the fact that that's arguably like the best option, because like when I talk to family planning about contraception, this is when I had chosen the jab, like they were saying to choose the Mirena. I'll just quickly mention actually the copper IUD, that's no hormones, so you can bleed more and heavier, but then you don't have the hormones being released into your body. But the Mirena, that has a very slow, small amount being released. So that's your best option, because you're not having lots of hormones being released. You don't have to worry about it for 5 years. But the hiccup is that pain of getting it in. And when I spoke to the nurse, she was straight up with me. She was like, look, it's brutal and it's not nice and you're not going to enjoy it. But once it's in, you don't have to worry about it. And so it's worth it in that sense. But I've just talked to some people, and they make it sound really nasty.
I haven't heard anyone have a good experience with it. Everyone I've talked to has said it's like the worst pain they've ever gone through.
Except some girls say they go under, right?
Yeah, so my friends went under for it.
I've been under for it as well,
which definitely would be the way to go.
More?
Yes, it costs a lot of money. Like, it's not a cheap,
Yeah.
you know, that's why most people have to opt for being awake for it. So that's also another inequality in our
Isn't that
healthcare
lovely?
system for
Isn't
women.
that lovely? You can just go through the horrifying pain of it, but cheaper.
Woohoo, saving money.
And another thing with people that people use contraception for is to help with like skin issues and acne.
Yes.
I know that was a big thing with choosing a contraception that would work for me, because we've all struggled with acne.
Yeah, we have, and I feel like, because I went on the pill originally to clear up my acne. I went on when I was 15 to help with my acne. Did you guys use a pill as well to help with acne?
Yes.
My acne came in when I was older, so I only recently got it maybe when I was 21.
Got you.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, so it is interesting that you can use contraception to help with acne. All three of us have had, you know, we've all faced issues with acne, and it's honestly, it is a really hard thing to go through. Like, your skin, you're very self-conscious about the way you look, obviously, and it's the first thing people see about you. So basically, there's a lot of different things you can help with your skin and with acne, and we've tried a few ourselves. So yeah, I started off by being on the pill, Jeanette, and I found it helped with my skin, but obviously there was all the negative side effects that the pill has. So I mean, you see on TikTok people like hold up the sheets of all of the side effects that your pill gives you, you know, so you've got all that to go through. But there's lots of other treatments, and there's two types of acne. So there's hormonal and there's like bacterial, and it's really important to like know the difference to know how to treat whatever you have. So yeah, hormonal can come and go, like comes and goes with stress. It can like be activated with around your periods and your cycle, also menopause and pregnancy. So yeah, and stressful situations, lack of sleep as well can spike an inflammation and acne, which is just it's annoying.
A big thing with hormonal acne is it tends to hang out around here as well, because that's how I figured out mine was that the top of my face, my mic's going everywhere, the top of my face is like normally quite clear, but around my chin it gets really focused in on where it is, and that was one thing that I was kind of like, pretty sure this is hormonal.
Yeah, and it's also can be your chin, your neck, and your cheeks. It was saying, and it's interesting though how like where your acne displays on your face is usually related to like either hormonal or certain foods or stress and sleep. And then there's so with hormonal acne, they can be sometimes like they can either be whiteheads or they can even just be like cystic acne as well. About 50% of women in their 20s and 25% of women in their 40s can get hormonal acne. So it's pretty, it's a pretty large thing that women in their 20s will deal with, which is
There's
stressful.
definitely not like a better one or a worse one, but bacterial acne, from my experiences, like I feel like there's more options to treat it and get rid of it, like how you're going to talk about Accutane and all those things, where pretty much every person I've talked to that's had hormonal acne or doctors I've talked to is pretty much just saying like, you just kind of have to ride the wave. Like unless you can figure out where your hormone imbalance is and you can fix it, you pretty much just have to ride it out and it will come and go as it wants.
Yeah, and so with bacterial acne, it's caused from the overproduction of sebum, which is bacteria in your face is trying to fight, and then it's coming out in like your pores, and it's but there's more ways to treat bacterial acne, and it's also more it's important to know the difference so you do know how to treat it. So some different treatments that we've either experienced or just know about is obviously contraception, which can be used, and I found it helpful, but I think all of the side effects of contraception wasn't, it's like you can't
weigh up your options.
Yeah, you can't win it all, which is like the annoying thing about these medications. And then like another one is Accutane, right? For me, I went on Accutane and it was a great decision for me because I had quite like severe acne at one point, and going on Accutane was great. And even though I was warned, all of these side effects that will happen, I was like, if my skin's good, I don't think I'll feel these side effects. I'll just be super happy that my skin's good. And then, but the side effects are insane. Like the dryness of your whole body is crazy. Like, I don't know if this is TMI, but like even like my vagina dried up. Do you know what I mean? Like everything dries up. It's Sahara Desert. Your lips are completely cracked. Like everything is crazy. And then the mood swings, like it says like depression and anxiety, but then it's like insane the side effects and what you put your body through just for like clear skin and just to feel confident about yourself, which is crazy.
Yeah, I think as well another thing with Accutane is it is a very serious drug, and I think it really is a last resort drug. I mean, I only went on it because I had tried every single other avenue. I was looking after my health, I was looking after my skin, and nothing was working. And even then the doctors were still hesitant to give it to me, so I had to be referred to a dermatologist, and he straight away was like, we'll get you on it and you will be fine. But I think having that guidance and support from someone like a dermatologist, if you go to the doctors and they're hesitant, it's always good to get a second opinion from someone who is a specialist in skin.
Definitely, like a dermatologist is a really good choice, because that's the other thing. Like, you two decided to go on Accutane and I had the prescription, I was ready to go, and I didn't actually end up going through with it because I kind of weighed up my options and I did more research. And from what I understand, if you're on hormonal, if you have hormonal acne and you do Accutane, it will probably clear it up because it dries your skin out, and obviously nothing survives on that. But it will just come back when your hormones spike again, because a girl I work with, she did 3 rounds of Accutane until she realized that it was hormonal, and then because she did this years ago, so I think they were still kind of figuring it out. And so yeah, she did 3 rounds of Accutane. She said it was brutal, it was more strong, like stronger every time, and she said it was horrible. And then she ended up, she's on a pill, I can't think of the name of it, and she said that cured her skin, like cleared it up after that. So it is one of those things where if you need to do it, because like you said, there's some brutal side effects, but your skin being clear is like, to other people, they don't really notice, but when it's you, that's all you think about when you look in the mirror. And it is really hard to put a brave face on and go out and about, especially when your skin is really bad. And but for me, I needed to look into other things, and my skin did clear up for a while, and now she's starting to do me dirty again.
Yeah, see, after Accutane, my skin was completely flawless, but now since it is like hormonal acne, it is coming back. But I don't know. I think I would go back on Accutane, even though the side effects were so severe, just because of how I did feel way more confident in myself. And it's just, you know, it was a good like boost of confidence having clear skin when you've like struggled with acne for quite a while. But I've been looking at like other hormone like stabilizers to try and like just actually balance out my hormones to get rid of, you know, the hormonal acne or yeah. And then another one is like doxycycline, which you've both been on.
Yeah.
Did a round of the old doxy.
Yeah, but
Get away yeasty.
yeah, side
infection.
effects. Yeah, yeast infections.
Yeah,
That's
not
fun.
good. No, it's fine, but you got to persevere. It did not do anything for my skin though. It
Nope.
works for a lot of people though, not for me. Also fixes the clap. So
Yeah.
you know what? It's multi beneficial.
2 in 1.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
3 in
but,
1.
But doxycycline's a weird one because similar to Accutane, but obviously a lot lower level, you have to take the pill with a big glass of water and food, and you can't lie down for half an hour because it can burn your esophagus, which is just kind of concerning. And you also aren't supposed to go out in the sun, and you're supposed to wear sunblock. It's better to do it in winter. It's weird, like something about those side effects like don't sit right with me, and it's the same with Accutane. Like there's a
Your
guy,
kidneys.
yeah, like there's a guy we
them.
know, and his skin was clearing up and looking amazing. And I remember being like, look at your skin, man, like you're glowing. And he's like, yeah, I am just really, really sad all the time. And I was like, that just doesn't sit right with me. Like,
And the other thing about Accutane is you sign a form saying you will be on 2 forms of contraception, because if you get pregnant on
Accutane babies.
it's not good. And so you have to take 2 forms of contraception. So you're taking like contraception, like the pill, if you're the side effects of that is also already mood, like changes in mood and, you know, nausea, bleeding, all that stuff. And then you're taking Accutane, which the causes are like dryness,
hair loss,
depression. Depression, like your kidneys, like you can fuck with everything. And you're taking that, and then you have to have like condoms as well. Like it's a long process just to have clear skin,
especially if you're doing like 6 months round. But that kind of shows how much your skin means to you. If you're willing to do that, it kind of just shows like how much having clear skin means to you as a person.
Yeah, well, I guess it is also just super hard. Like if you know you have a bad skin day, and then someone was like, "Oh, you got a pimple,"
I was just thinking
or like,
that.
"Oh, you know, it knocked your confidence."
People
and like,
are crazy how they're like, "You have a pimple right there," and it's like, I can feel it
kids
on
are the
my
worst.
face. Yeah,
kids are the worst. They
Yeah.
point out absolutely everything. But some other like options you can do if you didn't want to resort to medication, because obviously medication is not for everybody, and there's some terrible side effects. Is like retinol creams. Like I put retinol on like 3 times a week, and I think they call it retrieval cream. Yeah. But with that one, you got to be make sure you do wear sunscreen every single day, because it does take away a layer of your skin. And I mean, I find it's working, but God, if I don't wear sunscreen, my skin is so sensitive and so sore. So you've got to be really careful with the sunscreen.
and you get that one through the doctor as well, and they'll explain, because there's quite a process with when you first start using it. You put it on for only an hour, and then you wash it off, and you have to make sure
build
you
up your
wash-
tolerance.
Because I'm pretty. Does it strip the top layer of your
Yeah,
skin?
strips the top layer of your skin.
which opens everything up, obviously.
Yeah, so it's pretty
Again,
brutal.
crazy when you think about it,
Yeah.
right?
Wild.
All of these acne treatments are very brutal.
And you get so normalized to it, like, oh yeah, it's just peeling the top layer of my skin off.
And then the worst thing is when like say for example us 3, we put in a lot of effort to like try and help our skin. You know, we spend a lot of money on skincare, medications, we do it all. Then there's those people that just, I just wash it with soap, or I just wash it in the shower. I don't wash my skin.
5-in-1 body face
You can
hair
say men.
wash.
Shampoo, conditioner,
Yeah.
and face wash.
It's a safe space. You can say men.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, men.
It's
Sorry,
men.
men.
But their skin's always glowing, so like go there.
Always nicer than mine, yeah. But maybe they need to use sunscreen though. Sunscreen's the most important thing I think that anyone can take away from this. Is wear
Absolutely.
sunscreen every single day.
Absolutely.
SPF baby.
SPF baby.
SPF baby. This has been great. We've debriefed a lot. We've covered a lot of serious
really have.
issues. Contraception, periods, skincare, acne.
Period.
Also,
Period.
this is also involving a lot of personal opinions. If you genuinely need help with anything, reach out to your GP, your doctor. Always important to get a second opinion if you feel like you're not being listened to as well. And
That's a big one.
that is a big one.
Yeah, and just remember, everything's a personal experience and a personal preference. Like for us, you know, medication was one of the things we wanted to do to help our skin. But like, if that's not going to work for you, then there's so many other things you can, you know, try to help.
I feel like all of the things that we've spoken about are all trial and error.
Yeah.
Which is so annoying in one sense, because like, wouldn't it be nice to just have the answer?
Yep.
But that's not life.
And everybody's different. And everyone
Everybody's
reacts
different.
differently
and
to
you'll
different
find your
things.
thing if you keep trying.
Yeah.
there'll be a few bumps in the road, but you'll get there.
Thank you so much for joining us for episode 2. We appreciate it. Follow us on Instagram at debrief.nz.
And TikTok.
TikTok as well. We've even got a little
off.
quiz up on the website, I've heard, at debrief.media. A little
Read our
contraception
articles.
quiz. Yeah,
it's all
there's a lot
going
to
on.
it. But thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.